Magandang umaga, Martes! Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ano na Bev, Best Express Views. We are live and alive on PHLV Radio in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of this America. What a beautiful, chilly Tuesday. Be sure you are following me on Twitter at Bev Llorente. We have viewers and listeners from all over the world. Bicolandia, Marhay na Aga, East Coast and Canada. Good afternoon. Special greetings to our kababayans in Manitoba, Canada, Sydney, Australia, London, and of course, Las Vegas. So, ladies and gentlemen, in person, live inside the PHLV radio studio, the Mozart of accident and injury law. He is not just a billboard, you know. In the argument of the people versus the people, for the people, the one and the only, Attorney Richard Harris. Welcome to the show, Rick!
I'm happy to be here, Bev. Thank you.
Best Express Views, straight from the walking encyclopedia of the jurisprudence. Earlier, I said that if anyone who knows Las Vegas, that is you. Why is that? Is it because of the high profiles you represented in the past?
Why do people know me? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well,
no, why do Las Vegas? If anyone who knows Las Vegas, it's you. Because you've been in Las Vegas forever.
Yeah, I have a real Vegas story. I came to Las Vegas when I was a kid, back in the 60s. And I hitchhiked into town.
You did?
Yes, because in the summer of 68, the family was moving here, but the car broke down. And
that's a real story.
My father and I were in the 1963 Mercury station wagon, and my mother and sisters were in the U-Haul moving van ahead of us.
Wow.
And of course, we broke down, and no way to contact people back then, no cell phones, of course. So what do you do in 1968 when your car breaks down? You put your thumb out and you hitchhike. And so my father and I literally hitchhiked into Las Vegas in June of 1968, and that's my story.
That's like the song, The Summer of 1968.
No, that was 69.
69. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So you got a ride to Las Vegas?
Yeah, so I hitchhiked into town, and then from there, finished high school here in Las Vegas, and ended up with some great jobs that were Vegas-oriented. I worked for Howard Hughes.
Wow.
When he was still alive. I was in his corporate security detail. I was the graveyard shift security guard at his headquarters when he was in the Bahamas. And from there, I got a job at Westward Ho Casino Hotel. I was a laundry porter. That's, of course, been replaced by the great Resorts World Casino Hotel, where the Westward Ho used to be. And then after law school, I got the greatest job in the world, which was with former mob attorney and former mayor of Las Vegas, Oscar Goodman, during the heyday of the mob influence in Las Vegas. I was a young associate at that law firm.
Wow. So how was Vegas then to now? Well, of course, besides the glitz and glamour, of course. How was the cases before compared to now?
Well, you know, when I left the Oscar Goodman firm, I went on my own in 1982, 40 years ago, and did personal injury law. I was fascinated by personal injury law because I didn't ever want to send my clients a bill for legal services. I wanted to send them a check.
Oh.
And I only wanted to be paid if I was successful. And so that lent itself beautifully to personal injury law, which of course is done on a contingency fee basis. And we only get paid if we collect a settlement for the client. And that was very gratifying to me, to be able to work hard for the people and only get paid if I was successful. And so back then, we were working on cases similar to what we work on now, of course. Car accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Truck accidents and motorcycle accidents. So, you know, my firm now is, of course, the largest personal injury law firm in Nevada, but it's just my solo practice that got out of hand It's
Yes.
you do a good job for the people, and word gets around, and your practice grows, and then you sprinkle a little bit of marketing into that, and you have a successful practice. But it all boils down to the people doing a good job. I've never been concerned about the money. The money always follows when you do a good job. And it's been mostly about helping the people get justice and get the settlement that they deserve, and trying the case in court if necessary, if we can't get a good settlement from the insurance company.
Very well said. So, in retrospect, Greg, just a little walk down memory lane. If you didn't become a lawyer, you are to be a rock star, right?
Oh, well, I got my undergraduate degree in broadcast
Yes.
journalism, so I had a face for radio, they say.
And the voice, of
Thank
course.
you. Yeah, I had a rock and roll radio show during college, and also worked at a country western music station. I also worked at the college station, both on TV and radio. But primarily, my main job was a rock and roll disc jockey in a station in Utah for a number of years. And so I'm happy doing radio all the time. My first love is actually radio.
Yes.
And getting my degree in broadcast journalism and having some marketing classes, advertising classes, I tend to enjoy that part of the business of practicing law. So even though I'm a practicing attorney, I still do love marketing and getting the message out, letting people get to know who I am. And I've always been, or tried to be, very authentic in the presentation of my firm, my brand, my personality. So people, when they need me, they already feel that they know me, because I
Yes.
tell my story frequently.
Yes, and it's the truth. Also from the past, you know how it is to be a normal people, like the man, like many of before getting into this the success of the career that you are now. You know how it odd jobs. I don't want to say odd jobs, but different kinds of jobs that that many endures nowadays to get by, and you feel for them.
Yes, like I said, I delivered newspapers when I was a kid. I worked in my father's retail greeting card store.
Wow.
In addition to having the security guard job with Howard Hughes and the laundry porter job with the Westward Ho Casino, and working at the the mob firm, I've had a real Vegas story.
Wow.
And I do have a love for Las Vegas and Nevada in general. I think it's a wonderful state full of diverse, kind, hardworking people, and I enjoy the people. I enjoy everyone's story. I enjoy getting to know people and hearing about their lives and the choices and experiences that made them who they are today.
And you
I
can
always listen to their story, and I like telling my story too. So I feel connections with a number of different types of people. The blue collar folks who work in the hospitality industry and in the strip casino hotels, because I did that, and also in the medical legal field because of personal injury. We tend to get to know a lot of people in the medical field, nurses, doctors, technicians, and so forth, and also the retail industry, which I think is the most difficult industry. Retail and the food industry, restaurant industries are very difficult, and I learned these skills from my experience. But my father was the hardest working man I ever knew. My mother had the biggest heart of anyone. She was a living angel. And so between my father's hard work ethic and my mother's warm, big heart, I feel that came together and created me, who always enjoyed working hard and always had a soft side for the people.
Very well said. And noble jobs, anything that is it's not high paying, but it's something to get by again, right? So
Yes.
your expertise is personal injury accidents, and you have represented high profile cases in the Filipino community and the Asian American Pacific Islander community. How is it working with them?
Oh my gosh, wonderful. We for whatever reason click very well with the Asian American Pacific Islander community. It could be the big personalities, the warm, friendly, happy, fun-loving, but hardworking people of that community that I click very well with. And yes, we have had, unfortunately, the opportunity to help in tragedies that have happened to some people and their families over the years, some notable cases and high-profile cases that have made the news. But the reason they make the news, unfortunately, is because it's a tragedy and there's been a loss of a loved one or an extremely serious personal injury that's permanent. And one thing I can tell you is when someone gets injured or loses a loved one, the outpouring of love is tremendous. In fact, when somebody dies, it never makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is all the love that gets expressed. And so when I sit with the families of people who have lost loved ones, I can always tell how the relationship was, even without them telling me. When there's a lot of regret and you can feel the guilt of someone when they've lost a loved one because they regret that they've lost the opportunity now to fix that relationship. And the grieving process is so much worse for someone who has regret when they lose a loved one, as opposed to families who visit with me, they've lost a loved one. They're, of course, very sad, but there's a joy and happiness of a life well lived with no regrets. And, of course, the memory is necessary to survive, but the memories are always good. And you can tell in those families that the relationship was positive, the relationship was good. And so our job is to help make something good come out of that tragic loss. And I've had settlements in wrongful death cases where the family has said, you know what, we want to donate all of this money to an orphanage or some other
Charity institution.
Yes, because they go, we want the name of our loved one to live on in the love and the legacy and the expression and the goodwill that comes from taking this money and taking something that's so horrible that happened and making something positive come out of it. I've done that a number of times with families.
Wow. So we have a question from our viewer, Mark of Las Vegas. He's asking what are some of the most common legal issues that people encounter in their daily lives?
Well, I like to say we in the personal injury business are in the safety police type of law. You know, we don't make the rules. We enforce the rules with civil lawsuits to make sure that people are held accountable. And so in personal injury, that is what we call retail law, meaning, you know, we're not representing corporations, we're representing the consumers. And these consumers typically have problems such as personal injury, wills and trusts, criminal defense, family law, and consumer law like bankruptcy, landlord-tenant issues. Those are the most common things that the common man has the reason to go see a lawyer for.
Okay. So how do you stay up to date on changes in the law and legal industry, like decriminalizing traffic tickets are among the new laws effective January 1st this year. So what are your thoughts about that? The AB 116, decriminalizing minor traffic tickets that lowers penalties for minor traffic offenses.
Yeah, so one of my law firms is called Ticket Busters, and we've owned that law firm for over 15 years. And that is a criminal defense and traffic ticket law firm where we represent people who have been given a citation or who've had a DUI or they've had a bench warrant for their arrest. And that is one of the aspects of consumer law, retail law. I call it storefront law, where the common man comes in and gets legal representation. And we've represented over 100,000 people in Nevada who have had traffic tickets. And we have the ability to get those tickets reduced in some cases down to a non-moving violation and avoid points in traffic school, although the fine is usually the same. And so the municipality, continued to get the revenue from the ticket. But there was some criticism over the years that it was too easy. I guess we were doing our job very well, too well, and that by not making the punishment stick more for people, there was some criticism that they wanted to get rid of the ability to plead down those traffic tickets, because let's face it, we would get 500 to 1,000 clients a month that would come and say, here's my ticket. And we would go to the prosecuting attorney and with our stack of 500 or 1,000 tickets
Yes.
say, do you want to cut us a deal or do you want to set all of these for trial? And so that was the leverage that we had to plea these tickets down to a non-moving violation. The fine was still paid. The revenue still goes to the municipality. In many cases, there was still traffic school, but we would avoid, in many cases, the points, which would reflect on their traffic record. And so the judges and the legislatures got together to make this more in compliance with most of the other jurisdictions in the United States. There's only about 10 or 15 states left, like Nevada, who have misdemeanor citations still around. Most of the other states have already moved on to this non-criminal civil infraction for certain traffic tickets. So it's basically you have to post a bond. You can try your case, but you're not getting a judge. You're only getting some kind of a magistrate or a traffic person who's not really a judge. It could be a judge, but they're going to decide whether you're guilty or not. I have my doubts about whether this meets the due process requirements that is demanded by the state and the United States Constitution. But because they're removing the criminal penalty, that's how they think they can get away with it, by not allowing a person to have a trial. And so it's a hearing, and it's before an officer of some sort who's going to say whether you're guilty or not. And because it's not criminal, I suppose they can get away with that. But many of the tickets are still criminal. For example, of course, DUI and reckless driving and so forth. Those are still misdemeanor infractions, and so nothing has changed with regard to those citations.
Is this a big sigh of relief for many people who has like previous bench warrants?
Yes, and that is important, because when the bench warrants were issued for failure to appear, failure to pay the fine, those typically affected the most poor people in our communities, and it became a vicious cycle of getting in trouble, having a penalty, not being able to pay the fine, bench warrant issued, go to jail, lose the job, more troubles legally, more troubles financially, a vicious cycle. It's much the same argument that you're hearing with bail for criminal defense cases, where it's argued that requiring cash bail for poor people is discriminatory to their station in life, and that the rich people who can afford bail, they can continue to work, avoid jail, and don't get caught up in the vicious financial cycle that some of the poor people do. And so the waiver of the bench warrant the arguments against cash bail, they're similar constitutional arguments that are focusing more now on the poor as opposed to treating everyone the same.
Wow. Because it takes a toll not only on their well-being, but on the mental health as well, right?
We've seen some real tragic, vicious cycles of people in and out of jail, in and out of, trouble. And it's really not that they're bad people. It's that they don't have the finances to be able to come up with the money that it takes to post the bond and to avoid going to jail. And so I welcome this, even though it's going to hurt my business personally. There's an old saying about lawyers, when the laws change, the lawyers come out of the water and grow legs. So, there'll always be difficulties that people have where we're going to be able to help and question the constitutionality of certain overreaching governments and judicial officers to make sure that people are still getting a fair shake and that justice is served. That's the goal.
Yes. So there's justice for all, not only for the rich, but also for the underserved.
Absolutely.
And so Ticket Buster, 702-666-6666. You just text it to them, do your tickets, upload.
So as of today, January 3rd, everything changes. And so we're going to be looking at these tickets, and the first determination is it a civil infraction or is it still a criminal misdemeanor? And we're going to treat those tickets differently because the processes are differently. On the civil infraction, there's going to have to be a bond posted, and that's going to have to come from the consumer. If they want to challenge it, they have to post a bond. We're happy to fight that ticket for them. But once that ticket is fought, again, you're not going to get a jury of your peers. You're actually not going to get a judge. And the police officer may not even show up. And so it's going to be your word against the citation, and the traffic ticket officer is going to make a decision based upon your testimony whether or not you are guilty of that civil infraction.
Wow, we learned a lot today. So when we return on Ano Bev, Best Express Views on PHLV Radio, from a one-man operation to now a full-service personal injury law firm. Don't go away, and we will return with more, so stay tuned.
Sabi ng patients ko, they don't need a colonoscopy because they don't feel anything. But colon cancer is a silent killer. It affects both men and women, mayaman man o mahirap. Have your colon checked.
I'm a professional singer. That's how I support myself and my family. I'm a careful driver. The other car hit me. I ended up picking Richard Harris. Richard Harris is already an institution in Nevada. Dahil kay Richard Harris, tanggal ang worries.
I slipped. I hurt my tailbone. They sent me the bill. Si Richard Harris, siya lang ang tumanggap ng kaso ko. Tutulungan ka niya. Kay Richard Harris, tanggal ang worries.
The Richard Harris Law Firm, just in case.
Mobile Home Health, providing care in the comfort of your own home.
Mobile Home Health takes pride in our nursing staff, physical, speech, occupational therapists, medical social workers, and home health nursing aides.
Because health is wealth. Sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, some people don't get the basic health care, but access to being well and healthy is available. Silver State Health Services offers affordable access to quality health care.
Silver State Health Services is here for you, Kapamilya.
There are children who've never had the experience of being a child. Bamboo Sunrise Foster Care serves underprivileged children.
We are known for exceptionally standard in delivering excellent services.
You can be a parent, make an impact on a child's life.
Finding the right dentist could sometimes be a challenge, but Dental Care of Las Vegas is a one-stop shop for oral hygiene.
We treat our patients as family.
Affordable financial arrangements are accepted. Call today, Dental Care of Las Vegas. The Richard Harris Law Firm is renowned for its long-standing engagement and commitment to give back to the community in Nevada. From Project Backpack, one wheelchair at a time, to the Richard Harris Law Firm Film Scholarship Foundation and outreach services. All of these programs from Harris's law firm has furthered its outreach to the AAPI community in the Las Vegas Valley and Northern Nevada. The firm is in full swing to support the Philippine Nurses of Nevada and teamed up with other organizations to give a special welcome to the J1 special education teachers from the Philippines to help fill Nevada's teacher shortage.
We'd like to thank Richard Harris Law Firm for supporting the Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada. And in one voice, we would say, among all nurses, in Richard Harris, tanggalan worries.
Thank you very much, Attorney Richard Harris, for your support for the nurses. We're so excited. This is our first face-to-face fall seminar after the pandemic. And we're here, we're energized, we're doing this nursing reboot because now we're putting our minds together how we can promote self-care for our nurses, make sure that we follow the regulations and function within our scope.
He's just a wonderful advocate for our AAPI, and not just for the AAPI, but for our community. What a great bunch of gifts that he is able to give to our teachers, to start off for a new year. And no worries for the kids with school supplies and supplies for themselves.
Labor and Community Leader Gloria Kawili says that she lauds the extension of Harris and his law firm's advocacy for the AAPI community.
I really applaud Richard Harris, and I really applaud his organization, how they're hands-on. It's not just talk. They're hands-on really in trying to help the community grow and trying to give the community knowledge of, appreciating who they are and the contributions they make to this community. And, it gives also the folks here with Richard Harris, as a supporter, a sense of protection, a sense of protection. So we thank him.
CEO and founder Richard Harris says that it is their duty and obligation not only to give back, but to make a positive impact to the communities they serve.
That's the mission of the Richard Harris Law Firm, is that we always give back. We've been very successful, but we also know our responsibility to share our good fortune with those who are less fortunate.
Harris adds that advocating and supporting the Asian American Pacific Islander community is a great honor, since the community has played a major role as a contributing factor to the moral fiber that makes America great.
But one thing is very consistent throughout Southern Nevada, and that is no matter where you come from, and no matter the color of your skin or your ethnic origin, there is a love for family, there is a love for community, there is a dedication to service and to make the community better.
Welcome back to Ano Na Bev, Best Express Views on PHLV Radio. Still with us is Richard Harris, CEO of the Richard Harris Law Firm. Rick, for 4 decades, hard work and dedication, the Richard Harris Law Firm is now an institution to all the restitution and attribution to its foundation. That's a lot of Sean. Understanding your client's needs. Some cases are hard to settle, but you have armies of lawyers who are working with you, including some PhilAm and some Asian American lawyers on your team. So how do you approach working with clients and helping them navigate the complexity of some legal issues?
Yes, we have 30 lawyers. 2 are Filipino American,
Yes.
and a lady lawyer and a one in criminal defense and one in personal injury. It's all about making it about the client instead of about yourself.
Yes.
There's nothing more valuable than just listening and letting your client tell their story. And you'll be surprised what you learn if you just be quiet and listen to what the needs and the struggles and the feelings of your clients are. And I encourage that with all of my lawyers. I've always been a good listener and pick up on the little things that are driving a certain feeling, for good or for bad. And in many cases, it's not about revenge. It's not about vengeance. It's about justice and making people whole again. Because let's face it, all the money in the world cannot bring a loved one back. All the money in the world cannot take away the pain and the suffering. Money is a poor substitute for pain and suffering and the loss of a loved one. But there is a sense of justice that happens when people have a closure of their case and able to take the money and reimburse themselves for their own losses, as well as spread the love by giving money to worthy causes in the name of their lost loved one. Listening. It's all about listening.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
Not too available to many. But Richard Harris Law Firm had all the listening skills for all of the attorneys that you have and you're working with. So let's talk about the $27 million settlement from one of your lawyers who recently, it was all over the news.
Yeah, so Ben Cloward of my law firm, he is our senior trial lawyer. He was able to settle the cases of three of our clients who had the misfortune of riding on a Greyhound bus that had come from across the country through Colorado into Utah on its way to Las Vegas, when the driver, who he was sick, he was tired, he should not have been behind the wheel, took that bus and lost control and drove it over quite a large ravine and unfortunately killed a little girl and injured about 35 other people. 3 of them were our clients, and he was able to litigate that case and come to a resolution of $27 million in behalf of the 3 clients that we represented. They were very seriously injured, very seriously injured. They'll never be the same.
So, can you provide any tips or advice for people who are seeking legal representation?
Yeah, my advice is to do your homework on who you're hiring, especially in Las Vegas, but throughout the country. Advertising attorneys, on the one hand, have given access to the public to be able to be educated and to understand their rights and their ability to choose a lawyer to help them with their legal issue, whether it's personal injury or what have you. Unfortunately, marketing is not the same as experience. And there are very few law firms who actually market, who have the ability to bring a case home of a great magnitude. Many lawyers who have excellent skills do not market. Many marketing lawyers do not have very good skills. And there are very few lawyers who market who have the skills and the ability to market effectively to bring the access to the public. In Las Vegas, for example, there are very famous lawyers in Las Vegas who you see everywhere.
Yeah, in every corner of Las Vegas, there are multitudes of personal injury law billboards. It is ubiquitous. Share some thoughts to those who are seeking legal representation on that matter.
One particular lawyer comes to mind who has very, very slick advertising. You would think that he is the most experienced, best trial attorney in Las Vegas because of his marketing. The truth is that he has 0 legal experience. 0. I'm talking about he's never been to trial. He's never taken a deposition. He's never been in the courtroom. And yet he projects on TV and social media that he's this mega superstar trial lawyer. To me, it's misrepresentation. It's false advertising.
It's misleading to the
It's
public.
very misleading, and he should have a disclaimer on those ads to say, this is all just acting. This is all just fun and games. For me, I think I'm in a Hollywood production because it does not reflect his experience in the law. The high point of this particular lawyer's legal career was passing the bar exam. He's done nothing since other than he's a pretty good marketer.
So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers out there, knowing that tomato is a fruit is understanding, is a knowledge. But putting tomato to a fruit salad is a wisdom. It's your choice. I'm kidding. So is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers, listeners, and onlookers about your services or the legal profession in general?
The legal profession is honorable, helping injured people, helping people that have been arrested, charged with a crime is
fighting for their justice.
It's fighting for their justice, to defend the Constitution, to make sure that due process is followed and that justice is served, to hold people accountable. And I am honored to be in this profession. I've had a wonderful career, 42 years as a lawyer, 43 this year, and go to work every day. As soon as I'm done here, I go to work. And I still enjoy it. It's the joy of my life to be able to work with my son, Josh, who's an attorney in the firm, and also my two other kids who work in my law practice. And so Happy New Year, happy 2023 to everyone, and may you have the choicest blessings upon you, and good luck. But if anything happens, just in case, then you know who to call.
I have a text message from a viewer in Reno, Nevada. He's asking, what is your success rate in personal injury? I know you have a perfect 10 in AVO and you have 5-star too. And then how do you charge for your services?
So in personal injury, it's a contingency fee. So we don't take the case unless we believe we can win.
Okay.
And we do take the cases that a lot of lawyers won't accept. We don't just take easy cases, we take difficult cases.
Yes.
But we charge a contingency fee, and it's a percentage of the amount that we collect for the client. But we don't take every case. I mean, there are certain cases that are unwinnable. We cannot win every case, and so some lawyers may see it differently, and I've been on the other end of that myself, where another law firm has rejected a case. We see a different angle, and we take that case, and we succeed on it. So, if I don't take a case, don't take offense. Keep trying. There are other lawyers who have different life experiences, who may have the time and the experience to work on a case that we don't take. And so our success rate is in the 90% once we accept a case. But it is true that a lot of people call, and we're not able to help the driver who runs a red light and gets injured. I can't help that person. I can help him with his traffic ticket, but I can't help him if he's injured in a personal injury case. And so there is a lot of selectivity that goes on in the contingency fee world. And that's necessary because the only way we can make a living is to be successful. And so we have to make sure that we take cases that are winnable. I'm not saying easy cases, but winnable cases after a lot of hard work.
It's a personal question because some of the clients gets greedy. When greed supersedes them and then they don't get what they want, the tendency is always to go back to you and give you bad reviews or, say something not negatively.
Yeah.
How do you rebuttal them, or how do you deal with them?
The way I deal with that, first of all, even though I'm not known to be a discount law firm,
you have overheads that you have to pay.
I do not take more money in a fee than my client nets in their settlement. Now, there's one particular lawyer in town who makes that his big niche, more lawyer, less fee. In reality, every good lawyer does that. And in reality, my contract for not taking more money than the client is much better than the other attorney who's made a name for not taking more than his client.
That's very important to know.
It's very important to know. He excludes litigation. In other words, he says, I won't take more money than you if we settle the case before a lawsuit is filed. Well, 2/3 of our cases require a lawsuit. My guarantee, my less fee guarantee, says that I will never take more than you net, even if the case is in litigation. So there's no one who has a better less fee guarantee than my firm. I should advertise it more because ours is so much better than anybody else in town. But, that's one way that we keep things fair. A client can be unhappy, but he can never say that we took more than him, ever.
Last two questions. How do you keep clients informed about the status of their case?
So we have a unique client portal called Case Status, and it's a wonderful online portal from your smartphone or from your desktop computer where you have direct access to your handling team. You can text or email through the portal and get direct access to your lawyer and case manager. You can upload documents. You can review documents concerning your case, and there's a very good back and forth communication that goes on with our Case Status portal. Not everybody likes it. Some people like a phone call. They like a text.
In person?
Yeah, and they can make an appointment for an in-office meeting. They can make an appointment for a return phone call. But with, many, many thousands of cases that we represent clients at any given time, it's very difficult to answer the phone.
Yes.
When you want to talk to us, we're not always available. We're in court, we're in depositions, we're meeting with other clients. And so the client portal is unique in that you get direct two-way access to your team. And a lot of people prefer to have texting rather than phone calls. Anyway, this is happening more and more as the younger generation. They don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to text.
Text, yeah. It's easier. So how do you avail yourself to clients for communication? It's very important. Communication is very, very important.
That is the number one complaint that lawyers have, and we go out of our way to make sure that communication is not the problem.
You send your people out of, to the locations of the client if they're unable to go.
So we represent people all over the state.
California as well.
We handle cases in California, Utah, Nevada. We have cases in Texas and Illinois. And we have a couple of airplanes that make it very easy for us to get to our clients quickly. In a tragic situation, we can be there immediately to attend a court hearing or a mediation. If the case is in Elko or Reno or Ely, no problem, we get there. Sometimes you have to be two places at once. And I'm not bragging about the airplanes. I think airplanes are very useful to be in two places at the same time.
Convenience.
Yeah, it's very convenient. And we've always had aircraft that made it easy for us to make sure that people, they don't need to hire a hometown lawyer. They can have the best attorney in the state available for them. Even if they live in Winnemucca, they can have the Richard Harris Law Firm with offices in Reno and Las Vegas. And, with the advent of technology, video conferencing, both for hearings and two-way communication with the clients, it's made it very easy to close those gaps of distance in communication.
Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Richard Harris of the Richard Harris Law Firm, just in case. Dahil kay Richard Harris, tanggal ang worries. Thank you so much for your time. Rick, what's in store for the Filipinos living here in the Silver State, Reno and Southern Nevada?
No worries. Excuse me.
No worries.
It's been my pleasure to talk today. And, of course, we love the AAPI community. And we look forward to helping you through your difficulties. If you or a loved one are injured or been arrested or charged with a crime, we're here to help.
And your website has a Tagalog translation.
Yes,
sa mga
it does.
kababayan nating Pinoy, pwede na kayo mag-message sa Tagalog. Someone from the Richard Harris team will get back with you. And are we going to see more funny TV commercials with you and Josh from the ketchup, And Tagalog too, right?
Someday.
We will see that very soon. Again, on Ano na Bev, Best Express Views on PHLV Radio. Kita-kits mga minamahal kong kababayan sa amang sulok ng mundo. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Rick, and may you always be of service in defense to those who need you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bev.
I'm a professional singer. That's how I support myself and my family. I'm a careful driver. The other car hit me. I ended up picking Richard Harris. Richard Harris is already an institution in Nevada. Dahil kay Richard Harris, tanggal ang worries.
I slipped. I hurt my tailbone. They sent me the bill. Si Richard Harris, siya lang ang tumanggap ng kaso ko. Tutulungan ka niya. Kay Richard Harris, tanggal ang worries.
The Richard Harris Law Firm, just in case.
Sabi ng patients ko, they don't need a colonoscopy because they don't feel anything. But colon cancer is a silent killer. It affects both men and women, mayaman man o mahirap. Have your colon checked.
Mobile Home Health, providing care in the comfort of your own home.
Mobile Home Health takes pride in our nursing staff, physical, speech, occupational therapists, medical social workers, and home health nursing aides.
Because health is wealth. We at Dental Care of Las Vegas are very committed to give you the best smile, Southern Nevada. We treat our patients as family. In our practice, we are really committed to give the best dental care.
Sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, some people don't get the basic healthcare, but access to being well and healthy is available. Silver State Health Services offers affordable access to quality healthcare.
Silver State Health Services is here for you, Capamilia.
There are children who've never had the experience of being a child. Bamboo Sunrise Foster Care serves underprivileged children.
We are known for exceptionally standard in delivering excellent services.
You can be a parent, make an impact on a child's life.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.